حكيم ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا نعوذ بك اللهم من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله وسلم عليه وعلى آله وصحبه أما بعد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. جزاكم الله خير for coming. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept from us and make us sincere and grant us beneficial knowledge, increase us in knowledge and give us the gift of knowing His book in detail. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us by the Quran in this life and to protect us and shield us from hellfire in the hereafter. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us the way He protected His book and to make us among those who are the protector of this book. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward us the best in this life and the hereafter. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also to guide us to say that which is the best. We started last week Surah Al-Isra, and we discovered that the theme of the surah is the verse number 9, which says إن هذا القرآن يهدي للتي هي أقوم. The value, the role, the sweetness of the Quran. Certainly this Quran leads and guides to that which is the best. So the surah, actually that is the only surah where Quran, the word Quran comes 11 times. The word Quran repeated in any surah in the Quran like that number, which is 11 times the word Quran comes in this surah. And it is just basically, as we said, to make it clear that this is the best in all aspects. And also putting highlight to that the loss of the Quran is the loss of everything. And the example of Bani Israel, once they lost their book, they lost everything in this life and the hereafter. And they lost their way. They lost their, basically, the loss of the book is the loss of everything in the Quran. Also, the surah finished with sajda, means prostration. And it was mentioned because of the Quran. That when the Quran recited, people bow and prostrate to Allah, thanking Him and declaring that we are going to hold firmly to this book. And the next surah, which is Surah Al-Kahf, started with the same theme. Alhamdulillah alladhi anzala ala abdihi al-kitab wa lam yaj'al lahu 'iwaja. All praise are due to Allah who revealed the book that is straight, has no crookedness in it. It is all valuable. And as we said also last time, Surah Al-Nahl finished with the story of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, who initiated this straight path of believing in Allah as the only one and the unique one. Last time we talked about Isra and Mi'raj. Isra, traveling at night from Mecca to Jerusalem. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was taken in a nightly journey from Mecca, from Al-Masjid Al-Haram, the sacred mosque in Mecca, to the farthest mosque in Jerusalem, which is Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa. And then from there we realize the rest of the journey is not mentioned in the surah. It's mentioned in Surah Al-Najm, which is the other journey, ascending from Jerusalem all the way to the end of the seventh heaven and beyond that to receive revelation and Allah to show him great signs. That's what's it. Min ayatin al-kubra. Now, as we said last time, the story of traveling from Mecca to Jerusalem and ascending to heaven, this is by itself has books in it, authentic, and there are some books that are not authentic, and we said we're going to delay that until we get some time. That is the major issue being mentioned in this surah, and that's where the name comes, Isra, traveling at night, secretly, quickly. And then also it's sometimes called Bani Israel. We said that is the name of Yaqub, is his name Abdullah. Israel, Allah, Isra is Abd. So it mentioned the story of Bani Israel in detail. Now, so that is verse number 1, and we did that last week. As a transition, verse number 2 comes to introduce new subject, which is Isra is just a hint, a clue to this coming story. The coming story is basically telling us what is going to happen. What happened in the past to the children of Israel, and what is the situation at that time of Isra, and then what is going to happen to the end of this life, to the children of Israel and others. So as a transition to connect between Isra and the problem of Bani Israel, that's number 2. وآتينا موسى الكتاب وجعلناه هدى لبني إسرائيل ألا تتخذوا من دوني وكيلا ذرية من حملنا مع نوح إنه كان عبدا شكورا. 2 and 3. Bismillah.
And we gave Musa alayhi salam the scripture and made it a guidance for Bani Israel, the children of Israel, saying, take none other than Allah as your wakil, O offspring, and those whom Allah carried in the ship with Noah, alayhi salam. Verily, he was a grateful soul.
By listening to it, you can see 2 big issues coming right away. Number 1, that Allah has given Musa a sufficient book, complete book, that, as I said, guidance for every affair that they want. And whatever revealed to Musa was compatible to the Quran. Complete way of life. From details of transaction, families, believing God, worshipping, exactly similar to the Islamic Sharia, to the deen of Islam. Complete. And that's why he said we give it to Musa and made it hudan. Complete source of guidance to the children of Israel. But there was a stipulation on that. And that stipulation, as he said, what? Allah.
And made it a guidance for the Bani Israel. Take none other than Allah as your wakil.
That is the condition. Take none other than Allah to be your wakil. What is wakil? Wakil is someone attorney, basically. Defend.
That's in our language.
Legal defender. That's wakil. So, why you take wakil and when you take wakil and whom you take wakil, these are the questions. I mean, who is going to be your legal representative?
Sheikh, just one point that, if I may, there is a distinction here between the Quran and the Torah. And this distinction is in the Quran, Allah says, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. There is no race, there is no geographical area, there is no certain groups, but here it's Hudan li Bani Israel.
That's right.
For the children.
Actually, the Musa, he came to specifically to the children of Israel. He was not universal. And Isa, same thing. And all the prophets were just like that. It's basically, in general, we said the five examples of the prophet: Nuh, Ibrahim, Musa, Isa, and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Their way of life was complete, and they have toured the whole world, and they were attempting to spread their message worldwide. But the book here, specifically, Allah said, it was guidance definitely for humanity, but the vehicles to carry it to mankind was the children of Israel. Were interested, this Torah was interested to the children of Israel to implement it and to carry it to the rest of the world. And here, that's what the surah is going to tell us why they were basically, by the end, they failed their job. And one of them is تَتَّخِذُوا مِن دُونِي وَكِيلًا. You have taken someone other than me to be your representative, your guardian, your defender.
So they're like disposer of your affairs, kind of like.
Okay, so you have taken someone else other than me to be your, what you call, trustee. And that trustee is going to manage all your affairs. That is one condition they have broken, and that is why Allah said Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a new candidate to take over. Basically, the story of Isra is announcing a new candidate to take over that mission. But the mission is going to be carried universally. So that is Allah تَتَّخِذُوا مِن دُونِي وَكِيلًا. And the second one is, the second issue, as I said in this verse, ذُرِّيَّةَ مَنْ حَمَلْنَا مَعَ نُوحٍ. They are the descendant of Nuh alayhi salatu wasalam, not Nuh himself. He حَمَلْنَا, descendant of those who were carried in the ship of Nuh, or ark of Nuh. So they are descendant from those people who Nuh carried with him before the flood. And mention the quality of Nuh, إِنَّهُ كَانَ عَبْدًا شَكُورًا. Nuh was what? A great, grateful slave. Grateful slave. Well, that is the two issues. Number one, they have taken other than Allah to be their trustee. And second, they are ungrateful. And that is why Allah said, I am transferring this responsibility to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his ummah. Taking it from you because of these two big violations. The mission of being entrusted with the guidance of Allah is going to be transferred from you as the children of Israel and descendant of Nuh alayhi salatu wasalam and the people who were carried with him to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam and his ummah. Okay, so that is how the connection between the journey of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam from Mecca to Jerusalem and then ascending to heaven, and at the same time relating that to the children of Israel, where as you can see, Christians, they have basically done nothing. They were not really interested in, as they claim now, they have to what? They have to the conservative Baptist or whatever, what they claim, or the Catholic, they claim that they are interested to do the job of the children of Israel, to be the source of guidance for humanity, to save humanity. But in reality, they have no proof, absolutely none. Nowhere. It's said in the Bible, whatever they have in the Bible, that they are. But in the Torah, it was said, and in the Quran confirmed, for the children of Israel, yes, they were appointed to be trustee of the guidance of Allah to humanity. Okay? So basically, taking the Prophet ﷺ from Mecca to Jerusalem, announcing it by its, and also he met with the prophets, all messengers of Allah there, and did 2 rak'ahs as an imam to tell them, I am the new trustee of the guidance of Allah to humanity. And then he went to heaven and then came back. Now, this trust that was transferred from the children of Israel to Muhammad and his nations, guaranteed to continue by only one means, which is the Quran. If this ummah abandoned the Quran the way the children of Israel did, or they are ungrateful, or they have taken someone else to be their trustee other than Allah, then there is no guarantee for this ummah to stay as trustees. Allah will replace them. And Allah has mentioned in the Quran, O Muhammad and your people, these are the mistakes of those people who were entrusted before you. They have taken someone else other than Allah to be their trustees. They were ungrateful. And also, we're going to come, they become corrupt, fasadu, and also spread corruption, afsadu. That's why they disqualified from this commission and being transferred to you. But O Muhammad, be aware, our Muslims, of these violations. This is not going to be exception. If you do any of these violations, you will be replaced, just like those people before you were replaced. Okay, so that is all what we need to know. And now we are going to see in the next few verses how supposedly the Ummah of Islam to carry on this new commission, which is to be the trustee of the guidance of Allah for humanity. Trustee of the guidance of Allah to humanity to the end. Now, here the story of children of Israel, how they have broken, as I said, in detail. And we are going to jump to Surah Al-Ma'idah and Surah Al-A'raf. This all together will give us the full pictures. What happened to them, what is going to happen to the Muslims, and how they should avoid the pitfalls of the children of Israel. Now, I will ask Brother Umar to read the following verses slowly, and you start thinking about it, and then that is going to be the foundation where I am going to take it. So, Bismillah, 4 and 5 and 6 and 7.
And Allah decreed for the children of Israel in the scripture, indeed, you would do mischief in the land twice, and you will become tyrants and extremely arrogant. So, when the promise came for the first of the 2, we sent against you slaves of ours given to terrible warfare. They entered the very innermost parts of your homes, and it was a promise completely fulfilled. Then Allah gave you a return of victory over them, and Allah helped you with wealth and children and made you more numerous in manpower. And Allah said, if you do good, you do good for yourselves. And if you do evil, you do it against yourselves. Then when the second promise came to pass, we permitted your enemies to disgrace your faces and to enter the mosque of Jerusalem as they had entered it before, and to destroy with utter destruction all that fell in their hands.
That is the news of the future. Basically, this is the prophecy of the Quran, and this is Allah telling us what was supposed to happen. If you listen carefully, said you are permitted, you are ordered, you are revealed to that you are going to make corruption on the land or somewhere twice. and explained the first one in detail, and it was, I said, God, it was fulfilled and gone. And the second one is going to come again, and how is going to be ended. Now, when you listen to the verses, basically two parties themselves all the time. Number one, the party of the children of Israel. And number two, عباد لنا, slave and servant to slave of us. They will take over. And then we will resurrect you and revive you and empower you over them. And then also said Allah, you are not going to do good, you're going to do mischief. So they will be permitted to take over and basically crash you by the end. And that is your end until the coming of Isa alayhi salam. And that will be the third one, which is by the end of the surah. We don't have to worry about this. What I can say is, these are two, they are all the time, these two. Jews and basically Muslims. Because the Quran made it clear. You, them, you. So it is not anyone else. And this is why I'm saying this, because you're going to read a lot of Tafseer, and many Mufassirin said the first one was happened before Islam. And what is basically has no evidence whatsoever. In contrary, Quran emphasized this is all will be within the Islamic period, not before Islam, because the same people are going to take those actions. They have said, probably Brother Michael, what they said, Bukht Nasr or Babylon or
the Nazar.
right.
I've read
Now,
it the first time.
when you remember Bukht Nasr or the Babylon, were Muslims? Were they Muslims? No. Were they Jews?
No.
Were they people of God? No. Okay. But the Quran says people of God. That they are going to do the first one. عِبَادًا لَنَا, a slave of us by choice. And that is only applicable to Muslims. To those who selected the guidance of Allah, I mean Muslims or those who follow truly any prophet. These are عِبَادًا لَنَا, the ones selected to follow prophets by choice. These are the ones. So in the past, basically the Jews had met so many confrontation and war, and were dispersed from Jerusalem many times by Romans and by Persians and so on and so forth. But none of this really meet the Arabic language criteria in this verse, because those verses saying they are the same people and they have a masjid and they are a servant of us by choice. And that is only applicable to Muslims. Okay, that's number one. Is that clear? It's difficult. But basically don't.
It's difficult.
Huh?
It's difficult.
Right, but I want to make it clear the first one, and we're going to go into detail. That is, whatever has been said is not true.
But Sheikh, the non-Muslims are also the slaves of Allah.
Oh, right. There are two words in Quran. Ibad and Abid. Right? In the whole Quran, one time Allah said Ibad, and one time said Abid. And when you do study, and put all the time Abid been used and Ibad been used, it has two different indications. That is from the Quran, and somebody has done the studies.
One exception, Sheikh.
Yeah.
Surah Yasin.
What?
لا حسرة على العباد. They will not.
That's in the day of judgment. They will be all Ibad.
No, يا حسرة على العباد ما يأتيهم من رسول.
But because these people were in the hereafter, and by their conditions, anybody after death is Ibad. Anybody after death is Ibad. Before death, some of us Abid, some of us Ibad. Okay? Note that. All of us Abid. And the Muslims are Ibad. What is the difference? All of us Abid. Abid, all of us mean we are subjected to the law of Allah. We don't believe in Him or we believe, it doesn't matter, we're still Abid. Because only His rule and word can take over us. So we are abid, whether we believe in Him or not. If we believe in Him, we are called abid, ibad. We're chosen to believe. So, ibad for those who by choice believed in Him. Abid, all mankind, all creations of Allah are abid because only His will, His rules is applied to all, whether they believe or they don't believe. Abid, unwillingly. You are abid unwillingly, you are abd unwillingly. But ibad, you are choosing and by choice to be ibad. Okay, you get the difference? So there is a difference between word ibad and abid. Abid, unwillingly, you are a servant, you are a slave of God. Are we a slave of anyone else? Who's going to give us life and death? Is going to resurrect us, send the sustenance, all of these. So we are abid. Though we don't believe in Him and we are unwillingly abid. We're going to be going through this life and taken out. So we are abid. Now if you believe in Him by your choice, then you are ibad, where you have chosen to believe in Him. Now here the word is selected ibad, not abid. Alright? Means someone by choice believed in Allah. Though he is abd, anybody is abd. Not anybody. All the universe is abd of Allah. All the universe. Trees, stars, animals are abd of Allah because the law of Allah is applied on them. Now we selected to be ibad because we want to apply His specific laws, which is the Quran. So we are called ibad. And here the word said ibad. But also, in addition to that, Allah said masjid. Masjid, this word has been associated with any ummah other than Muslims? Huh? Okay. Any in the history or anywhere, masjid associated only with Muslims. The houses of worship called something else, not masjid. So that is also another indication they are to be Muslims. And the third one, as I said, read again and you follow me and I'll tell you when he comes to that. وَقَضَيْنَا.
All verses?
Yeah, again. Today, the third sermon.
And Allah decreed for Bani Israel, the children of Israel, in the scripture, indeed you will do mischief in the land twice, and you will become tyrants and extremely arrogant. So when the promise came for the first of the two, Allah sent against you slaves or servants of ours given to terrible warfare. They entered the very innermost parts of your homes. And it was promised, and it was a promise completely fulfilled.
Right? And then?
And then Allah gave you a return of victory over them.
No, say it again.
And then Allah gave you a return of victory over them.
Over them. So the same people, not different one. Because if you say Bukht Nasar or Babylon, and now Muslims, these are different people, totally different.
Sheikh, I'm sorry, but there's also, one thing here. This is a speech to people who are secular. It's not people who are of a religion. Bani Israel means the children of a certain person. It does not give their religion.
No, but no. Because the few verses, آتَيْنَا الْكِتَابَ هُدًى لِبَنِي إِسْرَائِيل. So we are finished from this subject. Because the verse 2 and 3 already said, from Musa and the Jews and the Torah, that's it.
Right, but this is to a group of a certain race. وَقَضَيْنَا إِلَى بَنِي إِسْرَائِيل. He's not talking about, again,
Bani Israel who get the book through Musa to be guidance. That's what it is. Because already the verse went through.
but there is no mention of religion.
It mentioned verse number 2.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be again. Because talking about the same people. So first he put down, who are they?
The same people by race, but not by religion.
Doesn't matter, but this is the people that are meant by this. We are talking about, they are trustee of the guidance of Allah. Was delivered to them through Musa. and it was complete. And then now we are going to transfer this trust to a new trustee. And the new trustee, as we said here, as you heard, in the first time they came, and Allah said they are good fighter, but they just enter to your intimate places in your home. So they did not kill you all. You get to see the expression of the Quran, جَاسُوا خِلَالَ الدِّيَارِ. Though they were able to kill all of you and eradicate you from the earth, but they did not. They just went to the most intimate places in your homes. And that's exactly what happened for Muslims in Khaybar, and for Muslims in Bani Nadir, for Muslims in Bani Qurayza. They basically evicted them. But they did not kill all of them, none of them. They didn't kill any of the Jews. But once they kept violating, the Muslims just evicted them finally all the way from the Arabian Peninsula. That is Jasu Khilal al-Diyar. Basically you were humiliated and evicted. And everything is taken away from you, violations after violations. But when the next one comes, no, it will be total destruction, as the Quran said. So, radadna lakum, we re-empowered you over them. So they have to be the same group, in the same kind of people at the first time, and the second, basically Muslims, because the second one Allah said masjid. Alright, let's listen it for the third time and then we'll put it in perspective.
And Allah decreed for Bani Israel in the scripture, indeed you would do mischief in the land twice, and you will become tyrants and extremely arrogant. So when the promise came for the first of the two, we sent against you slaves of ours, given to terrible warfare. They entered the very innermost parts of your homes, and it was a promise completely fulfilled. Then Allah gave you a return of victory over them, and Allah helped you with wealth and children and made you more numerous in manpower. And Allah said, if you do good, you do good for your own selves. And if you do evil, you do it against your own selves. Then, when the second promise came to pass, we permitted your enemies to disgrace your faces and to enter the mosque, and as they entered it before, and to destroy with utter destruction all that fell in their hands.
Okay, so basically, number one, la tufsiduna. Allah basically decreed, and there are so many other meanings, but decreed to the children of Israel that now tufsiduna in Arabic, the meaning la tafsudunna, la tufsidunna. I don't think you will understand the difference between this. So here said, la tufsidunna means you are going to carry corruption. But la tafsudunna, you are going to be corrupt by yourself. And since the Quran said, la tufsidunna, means first you become corrupt, and then not only that, you carry these corruptions on earth. So, and that is recitation in Arabic too. You can say, la tafsudunna, you will become corrupt. Well, if you become corrupt by yourself, and you don't carry it over, that's not a problem. You can be corrupt. But for them, they are going to take their corruption and put it throughout the earth. And that's what we see today. They are corrupt, but they don't stop there. Whatever they have corruption, they spread it everywhere, and ask the Holy Word, will tell you. Will tell you about every single corruption, where it comes from. The stars all from them. So that is how you get the point. You are going to carry corruption because you are corrupt. And that's why when they recited in Arabic, said, La tafsudunna, and then La tufsidunna. You will become corrupt, and then immoral, and then you will carry that on in earth. Okay, that's clear?
Passive verb and plus active.
Right. Here, La tufsidunna. No, it's not a passive. What do you call it? Fa'il. and maf'ul. Subject and object.
صفة لا تفسدن.
So here, لتفسدن, you are the actor of corrupting.
I mean, it's happened to you.
But that's why the other recitation is لتفسدن. By yourself you already corrupt. And then you go on and carry this on to others. So the first one is passive. لتفسدن, you become, passive verb means you become corrupt. And then the second one, which is here, تفسدن, you are the actor, the one who is going to carry this corruption to the others.
ضال مضل.
ضال مضل, that's the problem. Misguided, and also he is misguided. Yeah, it's not enough for him, and that is لتفسدن, you are going to carry it. And the manifestation is clear, really. Most of these immoral things, if you trace it, you find the source of it is really the Jews. Through even in the past, Europe, they think the whole evil on earth because of the Jews. I mean, yeah, that's what the European before is. That's what they were thinking. It's just all bad things coming from them. Well, Allah said, "La tufsiduna." Let's go further. وَقَضَيْنَا إِلَى بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ فِي الْكِتَابِ لَتُفْسِدُنَّ فِي الْأَرْضِ مَرَّتَيْنِ. Now, al-ard, the earth. Here were all the people who did the wrong explanations. They thought it is on the same spot. Well, in the Quran, the earth means the whole earth and means the sacred land. Both of them, there is no distinction. The word the earth with the or that, it means the Bilad al-Sham and what is neighbor to it. It said Allah wa ma hawlahu. So al-Sham and what is related to it, around it and surrounded or affected by it. And the earth is the earth, the planet earth. That is, we know, is the earth around the sun. So here, fil ardi, it meant two places. Number one, the Medina or the Arabian Peninsula, and the second one is the Asham, Jerusalem, and the blessed land. So this is the main, the meaning of fil ard. You are going to make twice corruption. One will be in the Arabian Peninsula, and the other one will be in Jerusalem and around it in Asham.
It's called the Levant.
Huh?
The Levant, that part of land, Bilad al-Sham, it's called the Levant.
The Levant?
Levant.
Levant. Okay. So let's see. Now, what we are driving to that, definitely, when the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ came to Medina, there were five major Jewish tribes. And they were there waiting for the coming Prophet. That's the purpose of their name. And they basically corrupted the life in the Arabian Peninsula. Now what is left is little bit, some practice in Jerusalem, in Mecca, where they were not accepted by the Arabs because they believe they are more authentic than them because they are the inheritors of Ibrahim and they want to maintain the inheritance of Ibrahim the way it is. So they were unable really to come to Mecca and make the corruption they did in Medina. But in Medina, they have done all kinds of corruption, politics and economics and social and interest and usury. And all of these were, and also war and fight to absorb the resources of the communities. They divided them and kept some, put themselves as allied to this tribe against this tribe and this tribe against this tribe. And they were in war in Medina, as we know, for more than 120 years. The tribes, especially Aus and Khazraj, were in war for a long time.
Sheikh, those 5 tribes of Jews in Medina, aren't they a small percentage of the total Jews at that time? Total Jews, I mean, there are Jews in Jerusalem at that time also.
That is a good one, but these are the ones who claim they carry the trust. Just like the Islamic Ummah, it is big Ummah. But only some who makes themselves die. And they want to enlighten the rest of the humanity. The rest of us just Muslims coming and go. So the Jews there were a big number, doesn't matter. These are here for the purpose of claiming the trust of God. And they are waiting for the coming prophet to carry it around the world. So that is what that's what is significant among them. The rest of them, how big they don't mean anything. Just like the Islamic Ummah, how big it is doesn't mean anything. Okay, so it's not by the number, by the claim who is carrying the trust. And these five were religious, purely, 100%. And they are there, they devoted their life. They migrated from all over the places. The purpose is to receive the new trust and carry it to the world. Okay? So so when the Muslims, basically Prophet arrived to Medina, he faced those five tribes. And they have made all kinds of corruption. No area of the life of Arabs at that time was not touched by the corruption on all aspects of life. The Muslims, as all of you know, opened the door for them, and the Quran called upon them, open your eyes, you are already here, waiting for this, here, take it. But basically they have conspired one time after the others. And as all of you know, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, just every time they make big treason, they just evacuate it, but never say come like Bukht ibn Nassar or the Babylon. Babylon just how many tribes? They were 12, 9, huh?
12 tribes.
They were 12, but he eliminated
11.
Almost 10 or 11. Eliminated.
Except Judah.
Huh?
Except
the Judah, which is one tribe. The Prophet ﷺ didn't do anything like that. Just ask them, you better leave. Take whatever you belong to, but we can't live with us. And then the Bani Qurayza and Bani Nadir, when they opened the door for Quraysh to come to the Medina in the Battle of Al-Khandaq, at that time they have taken 600, 700 as a prisoner of war because they have committed treason. But by the end they were released. Most of them, none of them. They were not killed, all of them. Actually, few were killed. And the rest of them, after a while, they were all released. And then went to Khaybar, which is the fortress where they have all the armament and all this was source of conspiracy against Muslims. And the Prophet ﷺ also, he basically asked them to leave. He did not kill few, probably 30 or 21 that were killed because of the confrontation. And the rest of them were asked to leave. And that is what the verse said in the first one. Like if you listen to it, he said, "Jasu khilal ad-diyar." They did not kill you. They just entered to all the intimate places in your homes. So though they were ba'sin shadid, they were fighters. Sahaba were fighters and they were going to fight if it is needed. Okay, so go ahead.
So when the promise came for the first of the two, we sent against you slaves of ours.
Slaves, as that is the description of Sahaba.
To terrible warfare, they entered the very innermost parts of your homes.
So they basically took over their homes and evacuated them. Now when the second one is coming, listen.
In the between, so with the Baqt Nasr, there was really not a war. I mean, as far as I understand.
Right.
Right? The Baqt Nasr's army just came and took over them. I mean, there was not a terrible war. There may have been a small war.
And the Bukht ibn Nassar, what did he do?
Crushed them and took them.
Yeah.
They took them out.
Took them all as a prisoner of war and put them in Babylon in Iraq.
Yeah, but here in the Quran it is saying.
Yeah, which is, that's what we are taking. It's not Bukht ibn Nassar. Basically, absolutely is not Babylons. The Quran is not talking about Babylons whatsoever. Not by any way or any means. This is applicable or describing the Babylons whatsoever. It's not. That's right. Okay. Next one.
And it was a promise completely fulfilled, and then Allah
Fulfilled. It happened during the life of the Prophet early stage of the Islam. These are finished, and they were evacuated by the 6th, 7th year of Hijrah. They were gone.
Then Allah gave you a return of victory.
See, then, after 1400 years, okay, then it is time. It could be very long. What he said, what did he, then, after 1400 years, what happened?
And we helped you with wealth and children and made you more numerous in manpower.
No, say it again.
Then we gave you a return of victory over them.
Okay, a return of victory over them.
But it says in the past tense, we gave you.
Right. Allah has granted them, and this is true. How the state of Israel comes to exist? It's the permission of Allah. They were scattered everywhere. How can you collect them and make a state out of it?
I think he's asking why Allah at that time used the past tense, although it hasn't happened yet. In other words, when the surah was revealed, Allah used the past tense, but that is for the future.
No, وَكَانَ وَعْدًا مَفْعُولًا. It is imminent. It didn't say it happened in the past. It is imminent to be fulfilled. Soon. وَكَانَ وَعْدًا مَفْعُولًا. It is imminent to happen soon. It isn't has been done. The verse is not saying it has been done. It is imminent to happen soon.
He's talking about the ayah after.
What?
ثُمَّ رَدَدْنَا لَكُمُ الْكَرَّةَ.
Okay.
And he's asking why.
No, but okay, oh well, then you missed the whole point. The whole point we have decreed to them. And now, unfolding, explaining the decrees. How is going to happen, even if he has used the past tense, but it is the same thing. It's Allah saying, and then we gave you. But in then we gave you in the future.
Just like the day of judgment.
Yeah. And then we gave you. And then we gave you to Ibrahim and Ismail. You can use it, though you are talking about, because it is going to happen imminent. You use the verse, the past, but in the beginning already said, in the future, you will go there and there and there, and then we given you to go there and there and there. So it doesn't mean the past, because you already started talking about the future from the first beginning, the verse. طيب?
And that's exclusive to Allah because He knows of.
So, to Allah there is no past, no present, no time. To Allah is all same, and that's why. But it's saying it is the will of Allah that the second will happen. Yeah, go ahead.
So this is
ثُمَّ رَدَدْنَا.
more like rather than saying we gave you, rather than it is more like we granted you, maybe.
Right? But it is then, I mean, afterward, we given you. In order to do the next, okay, go ahead.
Then Allah gave you a return of victory over them, and Allah helped you with wealth and children and made you more numerous in manpower.
Help them with wealth and children, right? Right now, they are helped with wealth and children, right? Wealth, everybody is supporting them. Everybody buys, everybody promotes them, everybody is serving them, basically. Okay? Financially and politically, morally, economically, in all aspects, everyone is basically favoring them over all other people.